struggled. Why don't we blow trumpets anymore during wartime or other tragic times? The Psukim openly say in the 10th Perek, in Bamidbar, in Pasha Balotcha, when there's a time of tsar, Hatzar HaTzorer Etchem Ba'artzachem, there's tragedy in our land, you must blow trumpets. So why don't we do that? When there's wars over here, unfortunately, we have no shortage of wars in Eretz Israel, from north, from south, and people attack us, missiles. Why don't we go ahead? We have Tehillim, we have get-togethers, we have davening at the Kotel. Why don't we have the trumpets as well? So some people remember, actually, Rav Eliyahu blew trumpets during one of the Tehillim gatherings at the Kotel years ago. But it's not a traditional thing that we don't, not normal, we don't do it, even though it would seem to be traditional from the Pasuk. The Rambam brings it down as a mitzvah from the Torah. In Hilchot Tanit, it's a mitzvah from the Torah to scream out during the times of tragedy. And the Halacha, he writes, Halacha Aleph, and to blow the trumpets. The Tafkuf Ayin Vav in the Shulchan Aruch writes about screaming and blowing the trumpets. Maria, Mishavura mentions it. So why don't we do it? So the Magen Avraham in Orach Chaim Tafkuf Ayin Vav asks the question. He says, I don't know. I don't know why we don't do it. The Mishnah also tries to make sense. First he says, you might say you need trumpets. We don't know what the halachic trumpets are. And then he says, no, the Magen Mishnah says shofar is fine. Trumpets is just one means to arouse the people. Shofar is another way. So if that's the case, how come we don't do it? Mishnah offers a few possibilities to these exemptions applied to us in Eretz Yisrael today. Not simple. First he says it only applies in Eretz Yisrael. Maybe not Chutz La'aretz. So that might help out the Mishnah in Europe, in Radin. But Eretz Yisrael does apply because it says Hatzoreh Etchem, when you are attacked in Israel. Then it says only when it's Bereshutenu, in our control. So those of us that maintain that the leadership today is defined as control, then that's it. Then we don't have an exemption. Third answer is only when there's the majority, when the majority of the Jews are being attacked. So it's just a matter of time. When the Hezbollah missiles, 150,000 missiles pointed at us, there's a war started, and we have a majority here within the next year or two or three, so then we have that criteria also. So the Mishabura's exemptions may not apply to us very soon. The Yavit says you need the exact chatzot from the Migdash, the ones we used to use, and it has to be blown by Kohanim, but Kohanim Yuchasim, who we know for sure go back to the true-blooded Kohanim, to Aaron and the family thousands of years ago, and we don't have that. So those are four exemptions that the post could bring down. The Aruch HaShulchan says it used to be during the times of a Tanit, we would, and tragic times, not that we have today, but when they set up, instituted Taniyot, fast days as needed for famines and other kinds of situations, and they fasted, they'd add on 6 brachot in Shemona Esrei. You have to go to Israel, and that's when they would blow. And since we don't add those in anymore, then there's no place to blow. Not the simplest answer, because blowing is from the Torah, and that's a rabbinic institution. And then finally, Aruch HaShulchan says maybe it's only the time of the Migdash. That's when we have to blow. We don't have the Mikdash anymore, and that's it. Those are 6 possible reasons why we may not do the mitzvah, which is a simple mitzvah from the Torah. Halavai, I hope and pray that we won't have war here, and it won't be a necessity. Because the simple pshat is the mitzvah to blow from the Torah, and the answers are not that simple, but the answers defend and make sense of the minhag of Klal Yisrael not to do it. Shalom.